Alright guys, so today's video is going to be about another bike that I plan on having on the channel quite a bit. I picked up this bike. This is a 2020 Honda CRF450R. I bought this bike in October of 2020, brand new off the showroom floor, because they had it priced as a leftover and I couldn't pass up what they were moving them for. They were damn near the same price as a 250 at that point. So I picked it up. 4.5 hours on it. I put that hour meter on it right when I brought it home from the dealer. And then I also put this Akrapovic or Akrapovic, however you say it, exhaust on here. Way better than stock as far as grunt sound it has to it. So basically I'm going to just talk a little bit about this bike and what to expect for somebody that's going after the newer chassis 450s, fuel injected, the newer chassis and everything else from my point of view, because I'm not by any means a professional. I'm just a recreational rider. And I ride mainly, off-road parks and trails and shit like that. So on this channel, there is going to be maybe a small series. I don't even know if it's going to be a series. It might only be a video of me turning this thing, well, not turning it into, but making it a better bike for the trails. There's some cooling issues that we're going to address, bar issues, and some overall geometry of this bike, the way it comes stock. I'm not all too thrilled with it. So luckily though, they're bolt-on options that you have to fix the geometry for a wreck rider, for a guy like me, you know what I mean? I'm 6'1", 230 pounds. I'm pretty sure the suspension on this bike is not set up for a guy that's 230 pounds, but at the same time, it doesn't feel bad when you're on it. So I don't know if I'm going to touch the suspension or not. Maybe not. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, so back to what I was saying. If you're a recreational rider and you're a guy that's not used to these newer fuel injected 450s, and it's a big change getting off of, say, a 03, 04 two-stroke, even a 03, 04 four-stroke, and then hopping on one of these, because the geometry of this bike is totally different than anything I've ever been on. It's really, really narrow, and that's a good and a bad thing depending on how you look at it. Like I said, coming from a wreck guy, and if you're a guy that's coming off of a later model bike, that the frame being so narrow is going to fuck with you a little bit until you get used to it. The dealer that I bought this from, they set it up. I don't know if they set all of them up like this or not, but they put the handlebar mounts in the back hole, so it moves the handlebars back. On this model, I'm not sure if the previous models have this, but there's two positions you can mount your handlebars in. I need to move them up because I'm so tall and my arms are so long, it feels like I'm fucking hanging off the back of the bike. And when you get on the gas on this bike, man, it goes. You know what I mean? This bike's definitely not no slouch. I see people in the forums and on the internet posting their shit for sale all the time, like, oh, I bought this 450 and it's too much for me, blah, 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 blah. I want to downgrade to a 250. Well, my take on that, man, is if you know your limits, you can handle anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to be on your toes when you're on this because it's crazy fucking fast and it's got a good amount of torque. But like I say, if you know your limits and you know, you could be comfortable with pushing yourself from time to time, there's no reason why you can't handle a 450, man. I mean, it's just, the bike's not going to do anything you don't make it do. So, you know, that's just something to keep in mind. But the things I noticed that I wasn't too happy with was the front end is real light, man. Like when you're on this thing and say you're in sand or soft dirt or whatever, the front end feels kind of light. You know what I mean? And with these bars being so far back, it's hard to put more weight over the front tire. So that's one of the reasons why I plan on moving these bars up. Another thing that's not helping is probably this front tire that's on there. This is an OEM tire. It's a Dunlop. It's a good tire, but I don't think it's good for the type of riding that I do, and it makes the front real like washy, man. If you try to get on this front, it can get sketchy. It can get a little scary. But other than that, man, I really don't have any complaints other than the whole front end issue on this bike. Like I said, the chassis was definitely weird when I first got on it. And, you know, I did my first ride on it or whatever. It took me a while to get used to how slim this chassis is. But power-wise, man, you can't go wrong with this thing. This thing fucking goes, bro. You know what I mean? If you're a guy that rides like single track and you get into some technical, you have both technical and wide open areas wherever you ride at, this can handle it, man. Like I said, it's a 450R. It's not the RX, so it's the motocross bike. So there are some things that you're gonna have to do to it to get it, you know, woods oriented. But it's not nothing that a couple bolt-ons can't fix, you know what I mean? And if you're all, oh, the engine I need my motor calmed down and blah, 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 you can either put a Vortex on here or you can get the stock ECU remapped to, you know, work with how you want it to work, how you want the power delivery to be. So that's just my 2 cents on, you know, the 450R, the 2020 in particular. I never was a real big 4-stroke guy when they were carbureted, and then they started coming out with these fuel injected ones, and it was pretty sweet, man. So yeah, man, look for this bike on the channel in future videos. We're gonna be dressing it up a little bit and changing a few things. So yeah, man, you guys stay tuned, man. I have a few different little projects I plan on bringing to this channel, as well as some footage from off-road parks and the riding that I do this summer. So, you know, as always, man, if you guys like the content, like, subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, and let's try and make this channel into something, man. That's my goal. You know, I'm an average guy. I'm a weekend warrior, man. A wreck rider weekend warrior. I don't race. I don't do none of that shit. I just like to have fun. I like to get back in the woods and have fun, man. So, yeah, man. But other than that, that's about it. I'm going to wrap this video up, man. Peace.